The reason they're in Ukraine, obviously to expand their colonial projects. That's why they're in Ukraine. It is backfiring big time because they are exposing their technologies to Russia. Russia is now able to defeat them completely, and if they do decide to strike United States, they will have upper hands on US's technology, at least to an extent, not completely, but to an extent. Why I'm saying this is because of what happened recently. But before I move on, just to remind you, most of my viewers are not subscribed. Consider subscribing if you happen to be not subscribed. Take a look at this particular news first. So Russia, they have claimed that its air defense systems intercepted 8 US supplied ATACAMS missiles and 72 Ukrainian drones. What you are seeing on the screen, these are ATACMS missile launchers, and these are the missiles, and these are all exclusive photos, by the ways, that I have collected for you, just to have a good idea what kind of machineries that Russia is dealing with when it comes to United States technology and all that. These are very, very effective. It has 300-kilometer range, I believe. They have destroyed one of these missiles, not the launcher, but the missile itself. And they also have destroyed 72 Ukrainian drones, and these all happen on Saturday. So that is obviously marking a fresh gain for the Russian military in the war. Now, Russian forces, they have took control of Nedaya settlement. Nedaya settlement is a very, very important strategically, and also it is very, very close to important location like Donetsk. And Russia, they have entered 4,000 kilometers inside Ukraine, according to one report. If you can take Luhansk, and Luhansk is very close to the Russian border, then it will be a big blow for the Ukrainian military. But Russian forces, they also took control of the Nedaya settlement in Ukraine's Luhansk region. So they took the Nedaya settlement. The ATACMS missiles recently provided by outgoing Biden administration, the senile old man, and we know he gave it to Ukraine to use it for maximum 300-kilometer range, and it can strike deep into Russian territory. Now, Moscow, they have warned that their use, this ATACMS missiles usage, could actually escalate tensions between the western Kursk region. Now Russia claims it continued assaults on Ukrainian forces, killing or wounding 225 soldiers in the last 24 hours. So that happened in just a matter of one day, 24 hours. I have actually posted this on my previous videos where I made mention of how many Ukrainian soldiers are losing their life and how many of them have to face Russian forces. And I mentioned to you guys that for every one Ukraine soldier, there are at least 10 Russian soldiers. So the ratio is 1 to 10. According to another report, it is for 5 to 7 Ukrainian soldiers. The ratio is 30 Russian soldiers. So 5 to 30. So this is the level of manpower shortage that Ukraine is going through right now. And on top of all of this, now Russia is claiming they have eliminated at least 225 of the Ukrainian forces. And this number is quite significant without a shadow of a doubt. Now, I also want to make mention of a few other things here. Russian troops also claim they have destroyed multiple Ukrainian vehicles. The one you're seeing right now, this type of vehicles were destroyed. These are all provided, a lot of them I should say, by the Western countries. And they have also destroyed artillery, Ukrainian military. However, they have countered this these huge forces of Russian forces successfully, and they said we have repelled the Russian advances in multiple directions, inflicting heavy losses. Obviously, when they talk about heavy losses on Russian forces, we do not know exactly what they mean, but Kiev reports that 1,000 Russian soldiers were killed or wounded in recent clashes. Ukrainian Air Force also reportedly shot down 34 Russian drones. And again, these are all coming from the Kiev reports, which these drones were launched overnight, continuing its defensive operations against a series of aerial attacks. Now, Ukrainian strikes focused on destroying Russian command post, military assets, and troop concentrations over the past 24 hours. 138 combat engagements were reported along various front lines between Russia and Ukraine. Therefore, I mean, we are obviously seeing the escalation going on. One thing we can almost guarantee 100%, and that is that the escalation of the war between Russia and Ukraine is just getting worse and worse every single day. And Russia, at the same time, they are gaining momentum, they are gaining ground. Now, because of this, the Western media, obviously, they're panicking, and they came up with this kind of report where they are now saying or spreading this kind of conspiracy or what can fake news, where they're saying, the Western media, that Vladimir Putin, his end of his presidency is very, very soon, and there is a revolt taking place in Russia. Take a listen.
And time for our weekly chat with Courier Mail columnist Des Houghton. Des, great to see you. And some interesting stories once again in today's Courier Mail, starting off with your predictions for 2025. So, Des, you predict that Vladimir Putin is going to be forced out of power. Why is that?
Yes, there's a great uprising behind the scenes in Russia about the volumes of young men being killed in the Ukraine. I don't know whether people fully understand this, but Russia has suffered 700,000 killed or wounded. This is directly related to Putin's so-called meat grinder strategy, where he just throws vast numbers of young, inexperienced soldiers on the front line to try and overwhelm his enemy and to gain extra space. The Institute for the Study of War.
So to begin with, that 700,000 number is hugely inflated by the Western media. I don't know why exactly they do that. It could be because they are just trying to give a false narrative to their own citizen in order to keep them calm and justify their spending billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine. That could be one of the reasons. Other reasons could be just a propaganda war. I mean, if you win this media propaganda and if you are able to convince the whole world that, hey, Russia is losing, and they have lost 700,000 of their own soldiers, a lot of countries may buy it. So, I mean, again, there is no record of that 700,000 Russian soldier dead in this war. There is no evidence. In fact, when we see the numbers from the Ukrainian side, you would expect a lot of consistency in the media reporting by the Western media. Even there, you don't see consistency. So, for example, right now they're saying that 60,000, one report, Western media, saying 60,000 Ukrainian they are soldiers. They're now criminally charged because of their desertion of the post. On the other hand, you have contradicting reports that are saying the number is not 60,000, it's only 51,000. Some other reports say it's even lower than that. So we don't know these numbers, but these people, quite conveniently, these so-called Western experts, they come up with these 700,000 Russian casualties. Like, are you kidding me? A country doesn't even have 700,000 soldiers. I mean, if Russia lost 700,000, they would not be fighting today.
Or says there's 50 deaths for every square kilometre of ground that's captured. The UK Defence Intelligence says that on average, 1,523 Russians have died every day.
Really?
Mothers, especially in Russia, are in uproar, posting some pretty horrendous stuff on social media, challenging Putin. One especially says that her wounded son was kept in a basement.
Well, UK intelligence, they say so many things about those drones. Remember, flying over UK and US bases in UK? And they talk about all of these other drones flying over their Queen Elizabeth warship, RAF, Royal Air Force bases. They say so many things. but they don't know exactly where these drones are coming from. So you can trust UK intelligence on this, that Russia is losing 1,000 of their soldiers each day? I don't know.
Like cattle, and then after a time he was forced to go back to the front line without a weapon and without any body protection. So things are really happening.
All right, we will be watching out for your prediction there, Des. Another story titled National Agenda to Turn a Blind Eye. And the story is about the transgender activists who have had a resounding victory over the medical fraternities. What's happened here? Okay,
I don't think that it will be something we'll be discussing. But guys, they are lying big time about this whole Ukraine-Russia war. We need to know facts. We need to know what is really happening. But unfortunately, during wartime, it is almost impossible to get to the bottom of all of these events and find out what is happening because of the war situation. This situation, war time is a time of chaos, where you see a lot of things are not organized, datas are not being recorded properly because of the situation. I mean, you are at war, you don't want to busy yourself with this data and analysis and all that. You are busy fighting your enemy. That's what the countries and their soldiers, their military do. Thank you so much, guys, for joining this session. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Take care.